An Israeli airstrike on the densely populated southern suburbs of Beirut heightened fears of an escalation of wider conflict in the Middle East. Israel's military said it was targeting a senior Hezbollah commander in what it called a retaliation for a cross-border rocket attack that killed 12 young people. Whether or not it leads to a wider escalation will depend on how Hezbollah chooses to respond, says Rhonda Slim, a senior fellow at the Middle East Institute.
This is a highly densely populated area. I expect the casualty rate to increase. The combination of a hit on a civilian site and leading to a civilian casualty rate, that will mean that Hezbollah will respond. The question is how they will respond.
Beirut's southern suburbs are a stronghold of the Iran-backed Lebanese armed group Hezbollah. The Israeli military said the airstrike killed Hezbollah's most senior military commander. Lebanon's health minister told Reuters that the strike also killed another person and injured dozens, some critically. On her way to a campaign stop in Atlanta, Georgia, U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris spoke to reporters about the strike.
Israel has a right to defend itself, and I unequivocally support Israel's right to remain secure and to defend the security of Israel. What we know in particular is it has the right to defend itself against a terrorist organization, which is exactly what Hezbollah is. But all of that being said, we still must work on a diplomatic solution to end these attacks, and we will continue to do that work. Thank you all.
Beirut had been on edge for days, anticipating an Israeli reprisal. Days earlier, a rocket strike on the Israeli-occupied Golan Heights on Saturday killed 12 children and teens on a football field. Hezbollah denied involvement in the attack, but said the group fired rockets at a military target in the Golan Heights. The killing of the youths prompted a high-level Western diplomatic flurry to avert a major escalation that could inflame the wider region. The Israeli military said it had issued no new instructions for civil defense in Israel, a possible indication that Israel did not plan further strikes immediately. Lebanon's foreign minister said his government condemned the Israeli strike in Beirut and planned to file a complaint to the United Nations over it. U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin said he did not believe a fight was inevitable between Hezbollah and Israel, though he remained concerned about the potential for escalation.
This evening, the IDF carried out a targeted strike in Beirut on Fuad Shukr, also known as Said Muhsin, Hezbollah's most senior military commander and the head of its strategic unit. Fud Shukr was the right-hand man to Hassan Nasrallah, Hezbollah's leader and his advisor in planning and directing attacks and operations. Fud Shukr was the commander responsible for the Majd al-Shams massacre, in which 12 children were murdered after Hezbollah fired an Iranian Falak 1 rocket directly at a soccer field in northern Israel on Saturday evening. He was a senior terrorist who has the blood of the Israelis and many others on his hands. One day after Hamas massacre on October 7th, Hezbollah joined Hamas in attacking Israelis. Since then, Hezbollah has fired thousands of rockets, missiles, and UAVs at Israel over the last 9.5 months, killing Israeli civilians and soldiers, and forcing 60,000 Israelis to evacuate from their homes. The IDF will not tolerate terrorist attack on Israeli civilians. We have been responding to these attacks with precise strikes on Hezbollah commanders, terror operatives, and military infrastructures in Lebanon. Hezbollah's ongoing aggression and brutal attacks are dragging the people of Lebanon and the entire Middle East into a wider escalation. While we prefer to resolve hostilities without a wider war, the IDF is fully prepared for any scenario. We have a duty to ensure the safe and secure return of Israelis to their homes in northern Israel. And we will continue to act to defend all people of Israel.